Hey guys, today I'm going to be reviewing Season 2 of The Witcher. So, before I head into my thoughts and feelings on Season 2 of The Witcher, I will not be getting into any specific spoilers at all in regards to this season. But yeah, if you're not caught up on Season 1, there may be like Season 1 finale spoilers within this video. But yeah, in regards to Season 2 specifically, no spoilers. I'm going to try to refrain as best I can. So yeah, another disclaimer as well, you guys. I have never played the video games. I have never read the books that are about The Witcher or whatever. So yeah, my only experience with the Witcher universe is just through this television show, you guys. So yeah, I am no expert when it comes to the lore and the world building or, you know, just the mechanics or whatever. I am basing my thoughts and feelings on what is being presented to me on the screen. So yeah, let's get going to my thoughts on The Witcher, you guys. I really loved this season, you guys. Now, I did really enjoy Season 1. There were definitely a lot of things that were big hits for me with Season 1, but a big problem with Season 1 for me, and this is probably not new to anybody, because this is a big complaint for a lot of people, Season 1 was a little confusing. It was a little confusing. You kind of find out like halfway through the show that it's not linear, which kind of made it confusing. And there's a lot of just hopping around within time, because The Witcher, as played by Henry Cavill, he can live for a very lengthy amount of time and whatnot. He doesn't age, so that kind of adds to the complexity. Like, okay, where in time are we? It's like you need a character to specifically highlight something to kind of firmly put you in time. So yeah, that was my big issue with Season 1, that it wasn't linear, and it was and it made it very confusing. Now that would have been fine, you know. I guess it's just the execution, how the creators, directors, writers, whoever, you know, I guess a combination of everybody. I think it was just a failure of execution that just did not work for me with Season 1. That, yes, I liked it in general overall, but I think I would have maybe fixed things and rearranged things a little differently to make it not as awkward as it kind of was. So yeah, cue in Season 2, you guys. I loved Season 2. Definitely just a vast improvement, in my opinion. For some people it worked, some people it didn't. It just kind of depends on your feelings about it. But yeah, Season 2 absolutely worked for me. It made me fall in love with the show. Let me put it that way. It made me fall in love with the show. It made me care about this world. It made me care about these characters, because I can't say I felt the same about Season 1. You know, I think I felt rather indifferent to a lot of the characters and whatnot. So yes, Season 2 definitely a vast improvement. I loved it. I was engaged. I was entertained. I liked that it was linear, you know. It was easier to follow, easier to understand, especially for me, since I have never read the books or played the games. You know, it made it easier for someone like me to kind of follow and get into and whatnot. So yeah, kind of just look at some of my notes really quickly here so I'm not kind of forgetting anything. Yeah, we got another 8 episodes this season. You know, I don't know how I feel about 8 episodes. In a way, I wish it was 10 episodes. But I understand, you know, it's like you don't want to push it. You know, sometimes you don't want to push it, but it's like I would have loved an additional 2 episodes this season. That would have been great. But yeah, Season 2, it pretty much picks up directly after Season 1. Geralt and Siri are looking for Yennefer. But yeah, they end up thinking Yennefer is dead, you guys. But we know she is not dead. So Geralt and Siri, their big thing is they're heading off to Witcher headquarters, I guess. That's how I kind of thought about it. They're heading off to Witcher HQ, and Geralt needs to kind of refresh, regroup, rebond with his fellow Witchers, which are like slowly dying off, you guys. And yes, Siri needs some training. She needs to become a badass, and plus she needs to figure out the nature of her powers, her origin and whatnot. And then, let's see, what do my notes say here? Yennefer, in the meantime, obviously we know she's not dead. And the big thing with Yennefer this season that we find out fairly quickly is she's struggling with her powers. Where are her powers? They've kind of disappeared, and it's all kind of a consequence of, from my understanding, the massive wave of fire magic that she used at the Battle of Sodden Hill and whatnot. So she is really struggling and dealing with that whole thing, with her powers and whatnot, which really makes her a fascinating character all season, because she has to learn to be creative and kind of think outside the box, you know. She can't rely on her magic anymore to get her out of a tough, sticky situation. And I do want to go back to the show, the fact that it made me care about these characters. Let me kind of start there. The fact that this show made me care about these characters, because, I mean, for the most part, I really liked the main characters of Geralt and Yennefer, because I think what season 1 did do the best at was definitely really developing Yennefer and Geralt and them as individuals and their relationship and whatnot, that you do grow attached to them. And yeah, when they do kind of split there rather dramatically, you're upset about it, you know? So I think what season 2 definitely did that was vastly better, it definitely made me care about the supporting cast of characters, especially Siri, you guys. Season 1, Siri, I didn't particularly care about Siri. I found her plot very dull and boring, you guys. I didn't care at all, and I didn't really understand half the time what was going on with Siri. So I love season 2 Siri. I really fell in love with her as a character and a young woman who is growing up in this world, and her determination to prove herself and to become this badass warrior, you know, and you know, get her powers going and figure out her powers and whatnot. I loved all her sequences where she was training and fighting, and just her wit and banter with Geralt was so great, because they have this wonderful father-daughter dynamic, which is so great. And then as far as like other supporting characters, I made sure to write everybody down here so I didn't forget anybody. Other supporting characters that I finally fell in love with this season, because I didn't care about any of these people back in season 1. I finally really liked Triss and Fringilla, Cahir, Istred, just to kind of name a few characters there. And you know, the thing is, even these characters that I just mentioned, Triss, Fringilla, Cahir, and Istred, let me tell you, I didn't even know their names back in season 1, you guys. That's how bad I didn't even care about some of them back in season 1. I didn't know their names. So yes, season 2, it's like I finally made that attempt to be like, you know what, I'm starting to fall in love with these characters. I want to know their names, you know? I have a desire to know their names and really start knowing them as people and characters and whatnot. So yeah, that's definitely what I mean by the vast improvement to some of these supporting characters, because I know their names now when I didn't before, which is embarrassing. And I felt really invested in their journeys and whatnot, especially like Triss. I just absolutely love Triss this season, because last season's like, who, what, I don't care. And also, another thing that I loved about season 2, what it's definitely exploring, it was definitely exploring this whole big thing of the politics of this world, and just all the various different alliances going on behind the scenes, and you know, who can you trust, who can you not trust, who can you trust a little bit, you know, kind of like frenemies, you know, and yeah, just the nature of this world, the shifting balance of these alliances and of these power struggles and the politics and whatnot. I loved kind of all the political stuff. Very well done, I think. And it was made really interesting as well. And it just adds an additional layer to this world, you know. This world, it makes it feel real and lived in, that there are alliances, that there are complex politics. Because it makes the world larger and broader and more complicated and complex and whatnot. And yeah, there's Siri. There's Siri's role in there too. And once again, really making Siri someone interesting that you want to know more about, because Siri has a lot to do with all these shifting political elements and alliances and stuff, you know, and it's like, why exactly? Another element of the show that I really appreciated, I liked the elves, because I think the elves in season 1 were just a really minimal part of it, and it's like you knew there was like this hatred and prejudice towards the elves, you know. I got that back in season 1. So yeah, season 2 definitely explores that in a much deeper level with the elves, and that the prejudice and hatred is just really strong, really deep. The storyline with the elves definitely goes to some really fun and interesting places, and yeah, kind of one of the final shots with the elves that you get I won't spoil it like I said, but yeah, one of the elves, it's kind of the leader, Francesca. She does some Old Testament at one point, you guys. It was pretty great. I loved this one scene with her. Because that was a really badass scene. That was one of the most badass scenes. Another badass scene. I think this was perhaps the most badass scene in the entire season, you guys. Fringilla, when there's a part when she's talking to some people supposedly part of her alliance, and they're all sitting at a table. She performs a little magic on everybody, and she does something pretty wicked and badass, and that made me love her as a character in that moment, you guys. It's like in the second to last episode, I think it was. If you've seen the show, you know what I'm talking about. That was the most epic scene, and I loved it. And kind of tying in Francesca and Fringilla for a minute, I liked that relationship between the two women, because that was another big part of this season, is kind of the role of women within this world, because this is two very strong, powerful women who are, you know, they're their own individuals, but they also are forming this fragile alliance in some ways with one another. And they're both powerful women. They're both having to deal with you know, other people, not just men, but other women as well, you know, telling them what to do, how to behave. Hey, you don't really have the power that you think you have, you know, you're just being used, you know. I really love that dynamic with Fringilla and Francesca and whatnot. And of course, you guys, I gotta bring up Jaskier. I can't end this video without talking about Jaskier. Jaskier was my favorite character in season 1. He continued to be one of my favorite characters in season 2, you guys, not gonna lie. The top highlight of the season, Burn, Butcher Burn. It's like he's talking about Geralt, obviously, because he had that really dramatic friendship breakup with Geralt, as we know from season 1. But I like how you could just, if you didn't know anything about that song, if you're just someone there at the end just listening to that song, it almost just sounds like Jaskier had a bad breakup with a woman. And you wouldn't know he was talking about a friendship with a dude, you know? Yeah, Burn Butcher Burn was definitely just one of the highlights of the season. I kept waiting episode after episode. Okay, where's Jaskier? I need a new song. Come on. Yeah, what else? I'm trying to make this video quick, you guys, so it's not lingering here. Some other things in my notes here. Yeah, I already mentioned that father-daughter dynamic between Geralt and Siri. I love that. And then, yeah, plus, you know, Yennefer being in there as well, which adds a lot of further complications and complexities as well. Yeah, Yennefer, her story, like I said, I really loved her story this season as well, because she is deprived of her powers. She has to think outside the box, to get creative. Yeah, her and Jaskier, once again, no spoilers, but her and Jaskier have some fantastic, top-notch moments in a particular episode. I loved Jaskier and Yennefer together. Other characters, you guys. Something I forgot. I loved meeting all of the new Witchers and Vesemir. That was cool. There's just a lot of cool stuff about this season, you guys. Season 1 was wonderfully done in some ways. It looked great, but I think season 2 really just knocked it up a notch in terms of visuals. I think the special effects were even better this season. Just the locations, the cinematography, the costuming, yeah, everything was just up a notch this season, I feel like, and I totally appreciated it, I totally loved it. And yeah, because I love this season so much, it really made me excited for season 3 and to get more into the world and what's happening. And oh my god, that cliffhanger, you guys, once again, no spoilers, that cliffhanger, ooh, I have questions, I have concerns. I guess I'm not going to find out until season 3. Who knows? So, you guys, I'm definitely curious your thoughts and feelings about season 2 of The Witcher. As you can see, I really loved it, but I definitely saw a lot of reviews out there. People like, oh, this sucks, it's terrible, this and that. It's the internet, that's going to happen. But yeah, I'm definitely curious, especially if you were kind of a little indifferent to season 1. Did season 2 kind of shift your mood, if that makes sense? Do you feel a lot more happy and secure going into further seasons and whatnot? Because I certainly do. I'm definitely very, very excited to head into season 3 and beyond. So you guys, that is it for my thoughts and my feelings on The Witcher season 2. In the comments below, as I said, please feel free to talk to me about your thoughts and feelings, and even go into spoilers as well. So that's it for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and if you like this video, you may like these other videos. Bye guys.